What's up, everybody? Welcome to our 8th episode of the Sew Yeah Show. Before we get started, let's get a few introductions. We're the Sew Yeah Brothers. My name is Brody.
I'm Tiankum. I'm Zach.
And this is the Sew Yeah Show.
Guys, this month's episode is a killer one. We were actually able to travel to Chicago to visit the Brewer Bernina Distribution Center. And if anyone doesn't know what the Brewer Distribution Center is, pretty much any notion that you have seen from us comes from there. They are an amazing company.
Threads, notions, everything. In this episode, this is just like our other episodes, but way cooler. We have our normal 4 segments. We have our Tips with T, our Dad Challenge, Will It Sew, and Fabricated, but with a little extra added in.
Last time on Will It Sew, we tested a Bernina sewing machine versus a John Deere tractor, and needless to say, it didn't end very well for the machine. If you haven't seen that video, you can click the link up top. Now, for this month's episode, we went to the Bernina Creative Learning Center and got special permission to test out a Bernina versus Gravity. Let's go see it.
What's up, everybody? We are here in Aurora, Illinois, home of Bernina USA. We're sitting in front of the Bernina Creative Center, and our Will It Sew challenge today, we're gonna toss a Bernina off the top of the building. Let's see, will it sew?
So guys, we're here doing this. It's gonna sew. I'm calling it right now. It's gonna sew, but we'll see.
Three, two, one, go!
That is a good chance.
You gave him good content.
I think out of all the places it could have hit, it hit probably the worst place.
So all that really happens is we lost the top plate, which isn't important for sewing. Right? We lost the base plate, which
It's nice if you want it to stand still when you're...
yeah. Other than that, that's not important. So really, it's just the motor here that we have to just reattach, and we'll see if it will sew. So let's take it inside. So we just dropped the Bernina off the Creative Center. This is what it looks like right now. It's pretty beat up, okay? So after looking at the machine, I threw on the top cover here. That fit. The bottom cover fit, which is miraculous that both of those things fits. Now, there's a couple pieces of metal that I had to break out of the bottom here. I'll show you the bottom piece there. And from here, these are kind of my pieces here. That's a hand pulley. Got the belts here, which are still intact. I gotta pull the hand wheel off here. But one thing that's weird about this hand wheel is that the hand wheel pulley 2 came off. Now this is kind of an important piece-ish. We're gonna figure out how to get that back on there. Now it's time to test life, if it's going to work, I guess. So I'm gonna put this on here. So if the needle goes up and down, and the feed dogs, which is what pulling your fabric back, goes up and down, it's not broken, okay? That means it's fixable. So how's it looking, Brody?
It's moving.
It's a little stiffer than what we'd like to see.
Wait, look, it's going up and down right here. And it's coming up.
So let's thread this thing up, clip in the back. Just like
As always, using a spool or a thread.
Through the tension discs, around, up and over. Let's give it a shot. Let's give this a shot. Now, I had fabric here with me.
I mean, my normal.
I mean, our favorite guys, the grungy grunge, you know what I'm saying? And we're gonna make a half square triangle.
We have a new power source, and we're gonna see, will it sew? Let's do it. There we go. All right.
All right, ready? I'm gonna hold the machine down. Zachary's gonna be power to this thing, and Brody's gonna be the life, the blood of this machine. All right.
Ready?
Yeah.
Go for it, Zach. And stop. That right there.
That's probably the best looking one. I'm not gonna lie.
Guys, will it sew?
Absolutely, absolutely.
Oh.
So will it sew after being thrown off a roof?
Of
Absolutely.
course it'll sew. Of course it'll
Absolutely.
sew. Guys, first of all, huge thanks to everybody at Brewer/Bernina for letting us go there and basically just take over the warehouse and the roof and everywhere else. So, big thanks to them. Now, next segment coming up, fan favorite, Tips with T. Tiancum, what do you have going on with us today?
And the excitement with Brewer doesn't end on our last segment. We're going to kind of go behind the scenes here and learn about distribution in the Brewer warehouse. Let's see what that looks like. Welcome back to Tips with T Distribution Edition. We are here in Chicago at the Brewer Sewing Warehouse. Now this distribution center is crazy. It is huge, and I'm going to take you through every last detail of how it all works. So how does a quilt store place an order? It's very simple. First step is to set up an account with Brewer where you have to provide your wholesaler information. From there, you have 3 different options. First, by phone, you can place your order, email, or on brewersewing.com. From there, they put your order into the system and then send it on over to the warehouse. First step to the distribution process is what you see right here behind me. These are all the brand new notions and products coming in through that door, going on to receiving. Alright guys, I'm here with Maddie with Brewer, and she's going to explain a little bit more about the receiving process.
So first we get our pallets in from our carriers. And then we inventory count them and input them into our receiving system. So we're gonna show you what that looks like.
How many products do you guys do per day, would you say?
Thousands.
Thousands of products?
For sure.
Over lots of different companies, or is it one company?
Oh, tons of vendors. We probably have hundreds of vendors.
Awesome. So
it's a lot of inventory. You know, we gotta be precise for our shipping department, so it's mostly what it is.
Well, and that's huge for me, right? Because I'm a buyer, so if we're off by 10, that's a big deal when you need a certain number. So thank you for all that. And then from here, where does all the products go?
After here, once it's all been received and inputted into our computer systems, it gets sent off to Warehouse 01, which is our picking and packing station, and then over to shipping.
So we just got out of receiving and putting all the product into the system. It ends up right here. Now, all the product here has to go to the other side of the warehouse and unpacked onto shelves. That way the pickers can pick, pack, and ship everything out to your local quilt store. As we come to this side of the warehouse, look at this place. This is where all those boxes that you just saw come in and are unpacked onto these shelves. And there are hundreds and thousands of different products, threads, and notions. Let's check them out. So here, these are all the shelves that they're picking all the orders to send to your local quilt stores. Products like this and this, clips, can't forget the best iron on the market. And let's not forget about thread. Literally guys, they have every product that you could ever imagine. Now, let's get on over to shipping. Now that we know about all the products that they have, it's time to start filling orders. Grab a bucket and you grab what's on the list and send it on down to shipping. So from here, once the order reaches the shipping station, what we do is we take everything out, put it in its new box. That way it can be mailed to your local quilt store. From here, tape it all up, print out your shipping label, and then it is checked out of the system, and on it goes to your local quilt store. Now that we've packed everything, put shipping labels on it, look at all the orders that are ready to go out today. And some of these orders are going to Sew Yeah Quilting. Make sure, guys, that you support your local quilt stores, and if you want to, jump on sewyeahquilting.com to pick up any of the goods that you've seen so far. Now that you've seen the distribution process, we just want to give a special shout out and thanks to Brewer Sewing for making this all happen and providing the notions for you guys nationwide. Thank you so much, and let's get back to my brothers.
Thank you, Tiago, for walking us through the distribution process. And again, huge shout out to Brewer for letting us be in their warehouse and disrupt their flow.
And thank you to Brody for those awesome drone shots during this entire episode.
They're pretty cool. Can't lie.
This subpar, but it's cool. Whatever.
So, all right, guys. Next segment coming up is fabricated. Last month, Zach showed us how to make some polymer clay coasters that were in the style of quilt blocks. What do we got going on this month?
All right, this month we're going to be doing some bleach painting to show you how to make your own designs on your fabric.
Let's see what that
Let's
looks
get
like.
to it.
Hey there, everybody. Welcome back to Fabricated, the quilting-inspired show for the non-quilter. In this episode, I'm going to show you how to do some bleach painting. Let's get started. The materials for this are really straightforward. You're going to need a piece of fabric that is unwashed. It can be yardage like this, it can be a t-shirt, a pair of jeans, pretty much whatever, as long as it has never gone through the washing machine. You're going to need an image, which you can just print off your computer, an X-Acto knife or utility razor blade, some duct tape, and a cutting mat. The first step in this process is you're going to take your duct tape and you're going to lay it out and make a sheet of it. I'm using this piece of plastic right here as my cutting surface, just so I don't run my knife all over the nice cutting mat. Here. I'm going to peel off a strip that's at least as wide as my image, or a little wider than my image, and stick it down to my cutting surface. There we go. Then I'm just going to do the same thing and overlap the layers a little bit, maybe a quarter of an inch, 3/8 to a quarter of an inch or so. Once I've got a nice sheet of duct tape made, I'm going to take my image and lay it over the top of the duct tape, and then just take a couple pieces of tape and stick it down to it. Now I'm just going to take my knife and very carefully cut along the edges of this image. I'm going to be real careful in the detailed areas, like you can see right here on the sewing machine, along the lettering, just to where I'm not cutting through anything by accident, and you want to keep everything really clean and crisp. One other thing is, if you get to a really detailed area like the needle here, be careful and maybe give yourself a little bit extra room. Like I'm cutting a little to the side of the needle just so it's a little bit wider. That way if there's any bleed over when I get to the bleaching phase of this, it's not going to just erase the needle. So next I'm going to take my fabric, I've got a fat quarter here, and I'm going to, here's the good side, and I'm just going to start peeling my pieces off real careful and putting them down. Because it's just a logo, I'm going to put it right in the center of this fat quarter, and we'll see how it looks. When I peel this up, I'm going to start on the top and start peeling from there, because I had initially started laying my tape down at the top and went down. So my top layer, or my top piece of tape right here, is underneath this next one. So I want to make sure that I peel off all of the layers and keep them stuck together. On the fine details, or in like if there's any rounded angles, sometimes it's hard to get them cut initially. There we go. Now it's working. So like right here, you can see what I was saying. Because this layer is under this layer, when I pull, it'll just lift it up. Whereas if I was pulling this layer, it would just separate. One thing to keep in mind as well is you obviously need to free this up, but you don't want to yank on it because it'll stretch the tape and then distort your image. As you're filling up your image, the one thing you do not want is for the sticky side of the tape to fold over and touch itself. If you need to work things around or stretch things a little bit, do it. Even if you need to cut your image and then tape it back together when it's on here, go ahead and do that, but just don't let it stick to itself, otherwise you're going to lose your stencil. Like that. Okay. Now, you can see this is kind of a mess, but I'm going to keep that separated. There we go. Okay. When you are laying your image out, you want to be able to set it down and stick it to the fabric with the least amount of repositionings as possible. So I'm going to, because I got a straight line here from the bottom of my sewing machine, I'm going to kind of use that as my base and lay that down first. I'm just going to stick it and smooth it out, being really conscious of keeping it straight because the tape will bend as you are manipulating it. Then from there, I'm just going to work one section at a time. Because I have my tape, this bottom piece now laid down and fairly straight, I'm going to use that kind of as my base to judge everything else off of. So now this is down and stuck, it can't move. So I'm just going to work my way up and stick things down just like this. Just working from whatever is already stuck down and then pushing it out from there. I like how this is looking. I'm going to move to the lettering. When you're doing something really detailed like thin lines or letters, you want to be really careful. It's really easy to stretch the tape or to break it, or for things to get stuck on themselves and you lose the stencil. So I'm just going to really carefully work letter by letter, and this is freehand, so to speak. You could put down a ruler or something and get a straight edge to line things up on. I'm just gonna go for it, and we'll see how it turns out. I'm gonna watch and just make sure I'm not pilling my letters up, but it looks like it's pilling pretty good. Yeah, that right there pilled up, but it's on the part that is doubled over, so I'm not gonna worry about that. I just need the one layer. This is where we'll see how well I did my cuts. You only want to have to move this the least amount possible, so just pay really close attention. There we go. Now that I've got everything stuck down here, I'm just going to make sure it's all stuck down nice and tight and all my edges are actually laid down, stuck to the fabric. Looks like we're pretty good. Now that the image is stuck really good to the fabric, the next step is to bleach it. For this, you're going to need a spray bottle and just fill that bottle up with straight bleach and then spray it over the top of the fabric. We're going to go outside for this portion of this because obviously we don't want to get the studio all bleached and white spots on everything. So let's head outside. For this step here, I've got my bottle of bleach and I'm going to spray the fabric and then wait for it to start changing color. When it gets to a color that I like, I'm going to take it and dunk it into a bucket of water to stop the bleach. You don't want it to just like miss the entire thing, so have it be kind of drippy. And we're just going to go for it. Okay, I'm going to tighten that up a little bit so it'll mist right there on the letters. And you can see how fast it changes colors. You want to be careful because as it's changing color, the bleach is also eating the fabric. So it's kind of a balance between get it where you want it and not eat a hole in your material. But you have to kind of play it by ear. this is looking pretty good. I think, let me give it a little touch up right there. I think we're good. So now I'm gonna take this, I'm gonna submerge it fully in the water, and that will deactivate the bleach. Gonna be real careful not to get any on me. There you have it. It's looking pretty good. From here, go ahead and take your piece, peel all the tape off of it, and hang it up where it can dry. Or if it's a t-shirt or something, go ahead and throw it in the dryer and dry it out. There we go, it's looking pretty good. I'm gonna let this dry out, and then we'll see what it looks like when it's finished. Welcome back to the studio. Let me hold this up so you can see it. I mean, check that out. That is pretty cool. Now, there's a couple things I wanna go over just as some final tips and pointers if you decide to do this. One is determine what you're gonna do beforehand and kind of the effect you're going for. This one here, as you can see, it's a little more blurry, a little grungier. It's nice effect. If you want a clear, crisp image, what you need to do is put your spray bottle on a really fine mist setting and just kind of dust the fabric almost with the bleach. Let it sit for a second and then dunk it. Also, if you are holding it up to spray it, then you're going to get some drips, which you can see on this, which is a cool effect, but if it's not what you're going for, lay your item down, mist over the top of it, let it sit, don't move it. You'll get a really crisp, clear image. Actually, I have an example of that I want to show you. This is a t-shirt that I did a couple of years back, and if you look right there, you can see the lines are crisp, the lettering's clear, and it's just a different type of look, but again, it was a really fine mist as opposed to more of a jet stream that gives you these kind of tiger stripes on it. So there's that. Also, when you are spraying, don't saturate your fabric. If you saturate it, it's going to go underneath your stencil and blur your image. Hope you enjoyed this episode. If you make any projects with this technique, please tag us in it. Hashtag Sew Yeah Quilting, hashtag Sew Yeah Brothers. We would love to see what it is you're working on. That's it for this episode. Let's send it back over to my brothers.
Another great episode of Fabricated Zach.
Thank you.
I'm
ahead
really
and try
enjoying this series because it's like we focus 99% of everything that we do on quilting. So it's nice to take.
And I hate quilting, says Zach.
Well, no, it's just nice to take quilting and throw it into something else and see what that could look like. So,
Yeah, it's
great
cool.
job, Zach. For
It's
sure.
cool. Speaking of something that has nothing to do with quilting, let's get to this month's Dad Challenge. Let's go.
Hey everybody, we're going to do the Dad Challenge today in the Brewer's warehouse. We've got an invitation from them to come in and take care of the Dad Challenge, so we had to go limited on our equipment to get it here, but we're going to have a great challenge. So I'll be explaining it to the boys as I'm explaining to you, so come along for the ride. Alright boys, this is the challenge. Each get a straw.
The fact that it fits in something this big is making me nervous.
We're going to have a race around the forklift and back. On the way down, you have to suck this ping pong ball to your straw and carry it down there to the other side of the forklift. On the way back, you can blow it down on the floor. You cannot touch the ball at any time.
Can or must?
You cannot touch the ball with anything but the...
You said you can come back blowing it, so that means you can still suck it?
You can if you want. But you'll realize that you'll be wanting to blow it.
Just making sure.
So if you lose a ping pong ball under one of the shelves or anything, it's a 10-second delay, and I'll come to you and give you another ping pong ball.
You're the delay.
I'm not the delay.
No, I got it.
Okay. Got it?
Got it?
Yeah.
All right, let's get started.
I don't know if I'm doing something wrong here, but
There you go.
it's actually much harder than it looks.
Starts, you're gonna become really smart.
But plan is win. That's plan. That's it.
Same thing.
This is another easy dub. No
Yeah.
problem. I've sucked at most things at life, so this is gonna be easy.
Ready, set, blow.
to back, my friends.
You too. Oh my God, yeah, that was like,
Friends, another one. Easy dubs. Like, if you guys want to like jump teams now to Team Tianco, gotcha.
all right, good challenge. Brewer edition.
Tiankum, gotta say, nice win.
Thank you. That's a 4 for 4 for me, and I mean, it really should be called the Tiankum Challenge with all these wins.
I thought that Tiago was going to win this one because he was pretty much born in the circus, but other than that, I mean,
a win's a win when it comes to the Dad Challenge. And speaking of that, if you guys have any ideas for the Dad Challenge or Will It Sew, drop them down in the comments below. We read every single one of those, and we pass them on to Dad. So
absolutely, guys.
let us know.
And speaking of commenting and things like that, please share this video with your friends, okay? There are a lot of people out there that haven't seen the Sew Yeah Show. We want them to get in on the fun. Please like this video, comment on it, share it with your friends.
Subscribe to the channel if you're new, too.
And subscribe to the channel,
there's always
absolutely.
that.
Snap it, tweet it, flip it, flop it, do all of that stuff.
All those things. With that note, that is it for this month, guys. Thank you so much for joining us. We are the Sew Yeah Brothers, and this is the Sew Yeah Show. Bye, everybody.